talk about the great giants of European and world football, we rarely think of Celtic. However, this is a big mistake made by the modern football fan, as the Scottish club are not only one of the most successful British teams, but have also achieved things that even Real Madrid and AC Milan haven't. So without further ado, let's explore the 7 most remarkable facts about Celtic's European Cup winning team of 1967. Celtic's legendary European Cup triumph in 1967 took place on the 25th of May at Lisbon's Estadio Nacional, and Celtic came up against the mighty Inter Milan, a team with far more experience at this stage, having won the competition in 2 of the previous 3 years. The match was set up as a classic clash of styles, Inter's defensive catenaccio against Celtic's all-out attacking football. The Scottish side's journey to the final was no walk in the park, not at all. They first overcame FC Zurich with a 5-0 aggregate victory, then demolished French side Nantes 6-2 over 2 legs. In the quarter-finals, they met Yugoslavia's Vojvodina Novi Sad, now based in Serbia, where a dramatic last-minute goal from captain Billy McNeil gave them a 2-1 aggregate win. In the semi-finals, Celtic came up against Dukla Prague, another tough, well-drilled side, but Celtic's attacking brilliance led to a 3-1 aggregate victory to book their place in Lisbon. Up to that point, Celtic had scored an impressive 16 goals in their 8 games, while their opponents, Inter Milan, hadn't had a game with more than 2 goals scored, suggesting a clash of 2 very different tactical philosophies between legendary coaches Jock Stein and Helenio Herrera. It was indeed. As expected, the 2 radical ideologies collided to produce one of the most spectacular European Cup finals of all time, even if the scoreline did not suggest it. Inter's catenaccio was the epitome of defensive football, a system based on impeccable organisation, stifling the creativity of the opposition and exploiting the counter-attack. Celtic, however, had other plans. Right from the kickoff, Jock Stein's men shredded the Italian defence with relentless pressure, pace and constant movement. While Inter took an early lead through a 7th-minute penalty, Celtic refused to let Catenaccio dictate the game. Instead of buckling under the pressure, they dominated possession and pressed harder and harder. In the end, Celtic finished the game with an astonishing 39 shots to Inter's 5, the greatest testament to their fearless approach. In the end, Celtic completed a 2-1 second-half comeback in less than 15 minutes to become the first Scottish side ever to win a European trophy. But that wasn't all. They also won the Scottish League title, the Scottish Cup and the Scottish League Cup, becoming the first ever to win the treble and the quadruple. Yes, it does sound unbelievable, and when you add to the fact that some of the top teams such as AC Milan, Real Madrid, Juventus and Liverpool still haven't done it 57 years later, you realise just how spectacular the achievement is. Celtic dominated the Scottish League, but their title wasn't as easy as everyone thinks. The Hoops finished just 3 points ahead of arch-rivals Rangers. They scored an astonishing 111 goals and displayed the same attacking flair that had seen them conquer Europe. In the Scottish Cup, they met Aberdeen in the final and won 2-0 to lift their second major trophy of the season. And in the League Cup, they once again demonstrated their attacking prowess, scoring 5 times in a 5-3 victory over Dundee Football Club. Back to the scale of their success on the European stage, Celtic's triumph in Lisbon not only cemented their place in Scottish footballing history, but it also placed them in the pantheon of European icons. By lifting the trophy in 1967, Celtic became the first British team ever to win the European Cup, a landmark achievement that resonated across the continent. Furthermore, Celtic were only the 5th European Cup winners after Real Madrid, Benfica, AC Milan and Inter Milan. Even at the time, those 4 clubs were considered the continent's giants, but Celtic's triumph was not just a breath of fresh air, it marked the beginning of something that was thought to be impossible. Until 1967, no underdog had won the trophy in 12 years, but Celtic ended that run and wrote their name in gold letters in the history books. They could also be described as the British pioneers, the team that heralded the arrival of British football on the European stage. It is fair to say that their success instilled confidence in British teams, because the very next year, 1968, Man United won the tournament, and in the late 70s 70s and early 80s, British teams went on a run of 6 successive triumphs, with Liverpool winning the trophy 3 times, Nottingham Forest twice, and Aston Villa once. Fact that most of you are probably unaware of, one of the most incredible aspects of Celtic's 1967 European Cup winning side is that every single player was born within 30 miles of Celtic Park. In an era before the modern transfer market, this squad wasn't built with big money signings or global scouting networks. It was a team of local lads bound together by their roots and love of the club. The commitment to local talent made their achievement all the more special. The players that night weren't just playing for Celtic, they were representing their communities, their families, and the city of Glasgow. It's a story unlikely to be repeated at the highest level today, where multi-million-pound transfer deals dominate the game. But still, there are worthy examples of clubs that support and implement this approach, and one of them is the Spanish Athletic Bilbao. They only field players from the Basque Country, no matter if they come from the team's academy or if they are just a Basque representative signed by another club. As we said, the Celtic players on that night were born within 30 miles of their home, Celtic Park. But did you know what they were named after that iconic performance? The Lisbon Lions. The nickname comes from the place where the game was played, but also symbolises their strong spirit and unity on the pitch. Led by the legendary Jock Stein, these players were not just teammates, but local heroes who played with a collective passion that took Celtic to unprecedented heights. The team's success wasn't just down to talent alone, but to heart, camaraderie, and playing for something bigger than themselves. From club captain Billy McNeil to pacey winger Jimmy Johnston, each of the Lions was instrumental in creating a legacy that would inspire future generations. They embodied everything fans loved about the game: attacking football, hard work, and playing for the badge. The sublime supremacy of the Lisbon Lions attacking football over the Catenaccio was heralded as a victory for the game, as even Inter manager Helena Herrera later admitted, "We have no complaints. Celtic deserved to win. We were beaten by Celtic's strength. Although we lost, the match was a victory for the sport." Well, that is the ultimate triumph, when even your opponents stand up in public and declare their admiration for the way you played. This is reminiscent of another moment when a Scottish manager acknowledged the superiority of the opposition. Sir Alex Ferguson, who was mesmerised by Barcelona's magical play in the 2011 Champions League final. But that is the subject of another video. The ultimate tribute to the Lisbon Lions, however, is the renaming of one of Celtic's stands as the Lisbon Lions Stand, a permanent reminder of the team's impact. So far, we've talked about the players, the stadium, the opponent, the tactical ideologies, so we have left for last the most important part of making this dream come true: the legend himself, Jock Stein. Although he's best remembered for this achievement in 1967, Jock Stein's legacy goes far beyond that. Stein wasn't just the architect of Celtic's most glorious era, he was the pioneer of British managerial success. As the first British coach to lift the European Cup, he set a benchmark that would inspire generations of managers to come. Known for his tactical brilliance and ability to bring out the best in local talent, Stein transformed Celtic from a domestic side into a European powerhouse. In recognition of his monumental achievements, Stein was later made a Commander of the Order of the British Empire, CBE, a rare honour for a football manager. His contribution to the game both in Scotland and beyond has been recognised on a global scale. As we said about the Lisbon Lions, the same goes for John Stein in particular. His influence has been immortalised by the renaming of one of the stands at Celtic Park in his honour. On the other hand, many believe that Scotland's greatest coach is Sir Alex Ferguson, and perhaps many of them would be right. But the former Man United manager has admitted himself that he wouldn't have turned into the manager we all know if it wasn't for Stein. And with that being said, we've come to the end of today's video. Tell us what you think. Which of these facts surprised you the most, and can you shock us with something we haven't mentioned? Also, if you enjoyed this one, hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and if you want to see more entertaining content like this, I'll catch you in the next one.